This is a 2011 Kia Optima. This car is throwing some codes, and I'm showing them to you here. I'm not concerned about the first two codes. They only arose after I disconnected the Clockspring. But the code that was arising before that I'm going to be repairing in this video is the B1481. It's the driver airbag. Resistance too high. And this code is usually caused by a problem in the Clockspring, so we're going to replace the Clockspring. I want to show you the airbag light. It is right here next to the battery light, and that is the light that alerted us to the fault that needed to be fixed. This is the Clockspring for this car, and this lives behind the steering wheel. So to access it and remove it, we must first remove the airbag, then remove the steering wheel. And I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to start by removing this cover called the clamshell. It has two pieces, a lower piece and a top piece. Now optionally I could remove the steering wheel and airbag first before removing the clamshell, but the clamshell has to come off anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. The upper clamshell has this dust cover that clips in. You can use a pry tool like this one to just pry it off. And then the clamshell itself, also the upper clamshell clips into the lower clamshell along this seam, and once again you use this any kind of pry tool that you have to pry it off. The lower clamshell has three screws that hold it in place. There is one on either side of the steering wheel. You turn the steering wheel in order to reach it. One is on the right side, and here is the other one that is just like it on the left side. And there's one more that you reach from underneath the steering wheel. And these, all three, are Phillips head screws. To release the airbag from the steering wheel is a little bit tricky. There's a hole on either side of the steering wheel. It's this hole right here, and there's also one hole in the bottom that looks just like this hole. And what you want to do is take a little screwdriver, put it in here, and there's a button that you must push very precisely. And when you do that, the spring force will pop the airbag out of the steering wheel. Now this is tricky, and you just keep trying. Try to feel around with the tip of your screwdriver for what feels like the button that you must push, and then when you feel it, push it, and this will pop out. It can be very frustrating, I know, but just keep trying, you'll get it. And I'll show you a picture. I'll show you in a minute, after I remove the airbag, I'll show you exactly the buttons that you must push. When all three clips are released, then the airbag pops right out. This is the connector for the horn. It pulls right off. These locking tabs on the back of the airbag connectors must be pried out in order to pull the connectors out of the airbag. I'm going to show you those annoying little buttons that you have to push in order to free the steering wheel. There, you can see one right there, and there is one on each one of these posts. So when you push that little button, it disengages it from the hole in the steering wheel. The center nut for the steering wheel is 21 millimeters, and it has a lock washer behind it. This plug right here comes out. To remove the steering wheel, you just shimmy it side to side. These are the two connectors that go into the back of the Clockspring assembly, and the white connector is pretty simple to remove. You just push the tab it comes out. The yellow is airbag type. On the right, I have the old Clockspring. On the left, I have the new Clockspring that is going to replace the old one. And this new Clockspring has some angle locks on it to prevent it from rotating and shipping. Now, what would you do if it did not have these rotation locks on it? Well, the manual, factory service manual, instructs you that when you install the Clockspring, rotate it as far as it will go clockwise, then bring it back to the centered position after approximately 1.5 to 2 turns. So wherever it centers after 1.5 to 2 turns, that is its neutral position. The Clockspring has plastic clips that hold it onto the column. There's one at the top. It's back here. There's one on each side, here and here. So to remove it, you must pry these loose very gently without breaking them. Then when you install it, you must press it all the way back until these clips lock into place, and you will hear them lock into place. Once you've secured the Clockspring in place, you can remove this center clip. It comes off very easily just by squeezing it. This is the airbag plug for the Clockspring, and its position is just beside the lock cylinder, and you want to push it forward until it clips securely in place. And same thing with the steering function plug on the other side. You want to push it till it clips securely into place. You'll hear it. So this fault has been cleared now. When I start the car, the airbag light stays off. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Once more, we were able to pull off a successful repair. At this point, I have nearly 350 videos with various repairs on vehicles of all kinds. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the description, in the description.